Chris Evans' Captain America has been a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe since 2011, when he starred in Captain America: The First Avenger. Including cameos, he's since appeared in another 8 movies and is one of the franchise flagship characters. But he's expected to depart permanently soon, and this video will theorize how that might happen. Oh, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's the best way of keeping up to date with all of Screen Rant's great new content. Before we blow your minds with our theory, we made this video in collaboration with our good friends at CBR. Stay tuned till the end to see their video.
I am Groot!
I am Steve Rogers.
Chris Evans' contract with Marvel Studios is set to run out after the 4th Avengers movie in 2019. The actor has stated that you want to get off the train before they push you off, and although you can't imagine Marvel ever pushing him off, it's understandable that he'd like to leave on a high. After 8 years in the franchise, 3 titular movies, and what will be 10 appearances, all things considered, after his final battle with Thanos next year, the Captain America star will depart the Marvel Cinematic Universe once and for all.
How many more of these?
But in what fashion? Well, that's what we're here to talk about. Thanos wiped out half of all life in the universe at the end of this year's Avengers Infinity War, and Captain America was part of the 50% who survived. In Avengers 4, he, along with the likes of Thor, Bruce Banner, War Machine, Black Widow, Rocket, M'Baku, Okoye, Iron Man, Nebula, Ant-Man, Hawkeye, and Captain Marvel, will have to launch a fight back against the Mad Titan, and it could result in Cap sacrificing his life. That's the most common theory about what'll happen to the World War II super soldier anyway, and there are a number of ways it could happen. For starters, he could die in the same way he died in the Infinity Gauntlet comic book arc, as the last man standing in the battle against the prune-chinned villain. Cap fearlessly approached Thanos, telling him he could never claim victory as long as one man stood up to him, before Thanos killed him with a mere swing of his arm. Then again, he might die using the Infinity Gauntlet to undo everything Thanos did with it. Captain America is a formidable man, but to wield the power of the power, reality, space, mind, soul, and time stones, it could take too much of a heavy toll on his human body. Alternatively, given that it was very obviously the original Avengers who survived the snap, the term "we don't trade lives" was used on more than one occasion in Avengers Infinity War.
We don't trade lives, Vision.
We don't trade lives, Captain.
And it may just have been foreshadowing something. Given that a bunch of newer heroes like Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, and Black Panther all perished when Thanos snapped his fingers, could the original Avengers trade their lives with those guys in order to bring them back?
The stone demands a sacrifice.
Of course, after years of fighting for what's right, or at least what he believed was right, Captain America could survive the final battle with Thanos and simply retire. It's not as though he doesn't deserve it, and he is 100 years old after all.
I'm 95, I'm not dead.
They're certainly all intriguing theories, but this particular video wants to focus more on a theory about a completely different potential exit for the superhero otherwise known as Steve Rogers. And it's undoubtedly a more fitting and deserving exit for both the extremely brave character and the dedicated actor who's played him for all these years. Most theories that fans have come up with regarding Avengers 4, whether they're about Captain America or not, involve the idea of time travel. The Quantum Realm and the Eye of Agamotto, the Time Infinity Stone, both have the ability to mess with the fabric of time itself, and there have been several clues that suggest that the time travel aspect will be a thing in Avengers 4.
Hey man, what's up, Mr. Stark?
Kid, where'd you come from?
A field trip to Nova!
Thanks largely to some leaked set images over the last year or so. There's the often mentioned return to the Battle of New York, which was featured in 2012's Avengers movie, this time with Scott Lang taking part in it alongside the original Avengers as they face off against Loki and the Chitauri army. With this in mind, this particular theory suggests that the 4th Avengers movie will end with Captain America traveling back through time to before he was an Avenger, having helped to save the universe, and then live the rest of his days as Steve Rogers with the love of his life, Hayley Atwell's Peggy Carter, leaving the Avengers behind in what would be an incredibly emotional goodbye.
You all right? I'm home.
Given that Cap was so into Peggy, it's hard to believe that he'll discover time travel exists without at least wondering if he could use it to get the happy ending he so deserves. Atwell was recently asked about potentially returning to the MCU, and the British actress refused to rule out a return to the big screen. But it would undoubtedly be cool to see her reunited with Rogers as a young woman. It's believed by some people that this concept was foreshadowed in 2015's Avengers Age of Ultron. While some of the visions inflicted upon the titular team by Wanda Maximoff were visions of their pasts, Black Widows, for instance, some of them were visions of possible futures.
I was shown. It wasn't a nightmare, it was my legacy. The end of the path I started us on.
Tony Stark was forced to see his fellow Avengers dead after a battle with Thanos' armies. Thor was warned that he would bring about Ragnarok, which turned out to be true, while Cap got his dance with Peggy. It would certainly be more of a bittersweet ending for the character than some of the downright depressing possible exits he could have. While leaving the Avengers would undoubtedly be hard for Captain America, he'd get to be with the woman he loved. It remains to see how Cap will actually depart the MCU, if indeed he departs at all, because we shouldn't completely rule out the possibility of an extension to Chris Evans' contract just yet. And just because he would go back in time if this theory becomes a reality, it wouldn't mean the Avengers couldn't call upon him in the future. Or the past. This is getting way too complicated. I'm out!
Are you ready for our dance?
And while the Avengers might call upon Captain America for help, we now call upon you. If you liked this video, then be sure to check 10 things that will happen once Thanos retires over at CBR. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to their channel, and let them know Screen Rant sent you.
Cool? Cool.
So cool.
What do you think of this theory? Could Captain America end up back in the 1940s? Do you think he'll die? And how will that happen? Is Cap the one to save all of our favorite heroes? Let us know in the comments. And be sure to like this video and subscribe to Screen Rant for many more videos that will blow your mind. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.